So on the 100-day countdown, the have to leave the dock list, the engine was a major one, and then the other is, you know, kind of buttoning up the rest of the sails. But most of the work is done. I guess the running backs on the main and the mizzen, and the furling line for the Yankee, and that's
the
pretty close to it.
Running backs for the main is the only one that's still, I think, a slightly larger project because I have to make either plates or I have to put some big eye bolts through the deck.
And then the only other thing left on the have to side is our haul out, which we're gonna do in March. And it's February, it's actually Valentine's Day.
What a romantic way to spend Valentine's Day. Get down in the oily bilge, baby, clean it up.
It kind of looks like chocolate, and the motor kind of looks like a rose.
My hands is too big, you gotta do it.
So February 14th, so we still have a full half month before Redeviva's annual haul out date is up. And we're probably going to do it mid to late March because Noah's going to be back. So we're really excited. Noah will be here in like less than 2 weeks. And then maybe we can get his help with the anchor locker, maybe some more shelving. And then Garrett can keep going on deck hardware, maybe get some handrails mounted. But that's all in the not absolutely have to leave the dock part of the list.
Stop braking.
It's okay, we love you again. We won't trade you out for another model. Happy Valentine's Day.
As long as you stop braking.
You're coming too. What started as a dream is now our reality. 6 years ago, we poured her ballast, raised every frame, cut every plank, and named her Redeviva. Ready for life back on the ocean, this year we're determined to set sail.
Would you look at that? I'd say that's the making of a fine cruising vessel.
We're Salt and Tar, and this is our life. We're happy to share, and thanks for joining us. I'm slowly cleaning the engine, bit by bit, and the bilge, and Garrett is attempting to extract that screw.
What a stupid thing to break.
It's a pretty stupid thing to break. He also mounted this rooster looking thing.
Oh yeah. Even though I can easily build an expansion tank for, you know, really cheap, just cobble some parts together, I wanted to save my time and I decided, whatever, I'll just buy this overpriced plastic tank from the website and just be done with it and I don't have to worry about it, move on. Well, if you pay the, like $50 for a plastic tank, that is the expansion kit, which comes with everything, but they don't give you a cap.
We didn't read the fine print, I guess, where it says cap sold separately.
I guess so.
So in the meantime, Garrett put a glove over it. And then you did something else already today. What was it?
I've done so much today.
What was it?
Oh! I found another leak.
Oh, yeah.
Where the fuel return goes into the line down here, which goes to the tank. This is a really difficult area to get to. So I decided to just clean it, degrease it, and put a crap load of gasket material on it.
It's the best stuff.
Because it's worked great so far. Okay, I managed to dislodge that bit of the stud that was holding, that broke off inside the motor that holds on the silencer. This is what the old one was. So it's just threaded on both ends and then the two nuts thread on either side. But I just got a different bolt that's a little bit longer because I got this just a gasket that's for that silencer. Ruth down there.
Feel it? I found this wonderful little hole in the engine that, I mean, it's not a hole in the engine, but it's like a shelf, and there's so much crud just on it, because one of the other things that we saw when we ran the motor the other day was it was smoking, and we wanted to make sure that it's dirt smoking, not the motor smoking. And
well, because
now that I've found this spot, it was definitely just a bunch of crud and crap that's in this little corner. Is really hard to get to. What is this, the fuel filter on the side?
that's the oil filter.
The oil filter is like right in the way.
Got the gas over the silencer that goes on here. Just push that thing on. I think we just officially finished all of the projects on the list for the engine before leaving. So unless we decide to do the diaper edition, we got some bilge pads, so what I'm gonna do last is just put them in the 3 frame base that the engine kind of crosses over, and it's primarily on the port hand side of the boat, so we can kind of maybe be able to localize anything else. No, yeah, that makes it easy because the engine is off-centered, so it's sitting to the port side.
To one side.
Yeah, the oil pan and everything is under the port side of the keel, or off the port side of the keelson. But yeah, hopefully now that we fixed a lot of the leaking, hopefully it won't be so bad. It's definitely still going to leak because it is leaking from the seal around the oil pan, which we can't fix or we can't address without pulling the engine out, and we're not going to do that. It's also leaking from the forward seal. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but it's leaking oil from the forward seal that's down here. It doesn't look significant, but it is leaking, and again, that's something that we can't address without pulling the engine out of the boat, and we're not going to do that. So,
and when I did mop everything out of the bilge, which was a bit of oil, the coolant that leaked a while ago, and it wasn't a full, I don't even think that's a full 5-gallon bucket. I think it's like a 3-gallon bucket.
No, yeah.
So I think I only pulled out like a gallon of liquid and sludge. So it really wasn't that much.
And a lot of that was coolant.
Yeah. That's where most of it was.
Diesel. Yeah, I think the least of it was oil.
Yeah.
So.
And that's before we fixed all these leaks. So I think it's I think we're doing good.
Yeah, we'll see. So unless anything else catastrophic happens, this is it for the motor until we leave. So this is the last kind of dock test to just make sure everything's running good after taking things apart. So I'm going to let it warm up to temperature. Then I'm going to cycle through the gears. I'm going to put it in gear and kind of put a load on it for a little while on the dock and just make sure everything looks good. Then after that, we'll be good to start taking her out on the river, start doing more river trials and try testing out all the new gear and getting ready for departure. So, I think we have another problem. Now the transmission is doing something really weird. So I think we have a transmission problem. When you shift it, the cable, it moves the lever, but then it takes like 5 seconds. You can tell it's kind of trying to start, and then it like clunks and jumps into gear. I don't want to do it too many times, but I'll set the camera up and show you. We're lucky enough to have a very, very experienced mechanic that is willing to help us out and give us advice. Thank you, Christian. So I just contacted him and told him what was going on. and he had a couple things to ask. Mainly, I just changed the transmission fluid, the ATF, and he was asking the color and if I still had it. So fortunately I did. I didn't dump it out yet. One of the first things he asked was the old fluid black or very dark, which obviously it is. And he said it sounds like it's probably so these transmissions, they have a bunch of like clutch kind of plates or discs inside of them, and he said that the black oil combined with what it's doing plus the smell of the oil, it has a slight smell kind of like burning brakes, and he said it's probably those clutches inside the transmission are worn and slipping. So it looks like most likely we're going to have to do rip this transmission apart and get like I did a quick little Google search. Obviously I need to do a lot more, but I saw that they do sell like clutch kits for these. The transmission is a Hearth HBW10, and I think it might be an HBW10 2R, and I think that part is just rubbed off on the transmission itself. Yeah, I think it's like halfway through February right now, and I mean, we still got a decent amount of time, but obviously there's still other things on the list, other important things to do before leaving in April, which is our plan, and it has just been back to back to back to back engine problems every single time I fix one thing, another thing comes up. Other than that, looks real nice.
Gorgeous day this morning. After days of research, narrowing kit options and dealers, we get the parts ordered. A special thanks to Jeff for helping with the cost and Christian with the expertise. While we wait for shipping, we can keep busy with sales and removing the transmission.
I'm going to be pulling off our transmission today. That's consensus. Yeah, sucks, but that's what it is. So just gonna start doing it and get it fixed and hopefully move on with our lives after that. So like I said, I'm very fortunate to have some really good advice that I can reach out to. So thank you again, Christian. We might actually take a trip down to Los Osos, which is actually the town that I grew up in most of my childhood, and which is right next to Morro Bay, which I also lived in Morro Bay. That's our home port. So that's pretty cool. He's actually from the town that I grew up in. So, and I still have family down there, and got my brother in Morro Bay as well. So if it works out, we might just bring this whole thing, the transmission, down to Los Osos, and he's got a mechanic shop in his at his house. So he offered that we could rebuild the transmission in his shop. So yeah, we'll see if that works out. That would be sweet. I'd much rather be putting stuff together than taking it apart at this point, but yeah, no use complaining about it too much. Okay, let's get into it.
That looks like a serious part of the engine you're trying to take off.
Yep.
First thing is undoing is that the coupling?
Yep. So, yeah, I'm going to take the coupling off, disconnect the drive line, get that out of the way.
So is it that whole circular plate too that you have to take off?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's like the adapter plate. I have barely any room to travel. Oh, it moved.
Yeah? Oh. How many more you gotta go?
That's the last one.
This is the soundtrack aboard Red Aviva today.
I like that I've got answering taps coming from below here.
I can't stand this old one. Bring me a new broom, 'cause I can't stand this old one. And if I get my way, I'd make it all new. And if I get my way, I'd tear it all down. Bring me a new car, 'cause I can't stand this old one. I can't drive it anymore. I need to get a new one. If I had my way, I'd make it all new again. Oh, if I had my way, I'd tear it all down.
Come on. Nice little wiggle movement there.
Haha!
Yeah.
She's free.
So now it's on that shaft.
Yeah, so now, leave it there for a second. I'm gonna move the drive line out of the way.
Okay. Yes. Woohoo! There's a transmission.
One transmission. Okay, there's the damper plate. Yeah, feels like a couple of the springs are super loose. Okay, got the tranny off. This spring is pretty loose. That's really loose. Let's see what Christian thinks.
The inspection begins.
So the damper plate looks a little not good. So just a quick search. 300, 136, 236, 425. If we decide, since we're taking all the time, to replace everything, and I mean, I'm pretty sure I would deep six the engine if we put it all back together and a month later the reverse gear fails.
Yeah.
So it's about $400 for the full kit, which is all the plates. So it's, I think, 8 bronze plates, 6 steel plates. It's all new seals, new gaskets, and I don't know if that comes with thrust washers or not, but if not, I'll probably replace those too. I mean, once we pull it apart, we'll know for sure, but I think those are only $40. So
And
yeah, it's going to be close to, if we do the whole thing, it might be close to like $500.
And then if we just bought a whole new transmission, which would not include the damper plate that you're looking at now?
No, that's
Okay,
a separate
so-
thing.
But a whole new transmission, not rebuilding this one, was like $2,000.
Yeah, I mean, I just did a quick search. The things that came up were like $2,000. We definitely have quite a few people saying, like, why keep putting money into this? We will know this engine inside and out. We'll know how to do everything that we need to do or may have to do. And yeah, it's just more valuable skills to learn. Christian has given us confidence to really tear into this thing and feel solid that after we do everything with his help, we will have something that we can completely rely on and that is already fit and set up for the boat.
And we also really want to thank everybody that has already donated on PayPal towards the various engine parts. It really is helping us out. And we're extremely thankful for Christian reaching out and willing to share his knowledge and share his shop and kind of help us gain some confidence in trying to stick to the decision of fixing what we already have.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge, huge help. Alright, so now that that's off, we can either work on, this will be the mizzen track for the mizzen sheet. And where those tangs are on the davits, where we'll do some sort of wood cross piece back here. We do have the track now for the staysail, so that might be the easiest one to do. So, staysail sheet. And since we can't leave the bowsprit down permanently, the inner forestay for the staysail is not attached.
So our beam that we're going to tie into for this is 3 inches wide. This is 2.5. So yeah, we got a 1/4 inch leniency on the other side, so I got to make sure I measure precisely. Sake of keeping everything very simple, what we're going to do instead is we're just going to use one shouldered eye bolt. We're going to go down through the deck and a backing plate, backing block, and then we're just going to have a single sheeting point, and then this will probably go from here around a fair lead or a block and go straight back along the cabin and along the deck to somewhere back there, and that will just be very simple, very straightforward. We'll probably just have a cleat back there, and then the only issue with having a single sheeting point is when you get off the wind, the boom tends to want to lift up, and it'll basically just curl the leech and like dump your wind. So we'll just have a vang when we get off the wind. We might just do something really simple with having a vang with a little block and tackle or something, and we run it to either just use like a little nylon strap around one of the stanchions or put a cleat somewhere. And so when you're off the wind, you just come up here, take the vang, which will maybe just be like secured along the boom, or clip it in, whatever, doesn't really matter. And so you'll just do that, you'll grab it, you'll attach the vang, cinch it up, then good to go. Or we could just use a single vang like on more modern boats, that it could just be a single line, or it could be on block and tackle. We could do it from like the eye bolt where the inner forestay attaches and then up to a point on the boom. Then that would just be permanent and it would always be there, and you wouldn't have to rig anything. But yeah, we'll see what we end up doing. Start with drilling a really little hole. That way if it's in the wrong spot, we can just fill it. Perfect.
Another hole right above our bunk. Here we go. Some scrap black locust from when we were mounting the Yankee winches. And it is just wide enough. Got our Sikaflex on there. Okay.
ready.
Did it all by hand. You drinking my beer now?
Yeah. How's my hair? My camera ready?
No. Now we're ready.
What were we talking about?
Our baggy wrinkles have a perm.
Those are just the wrinkles.